Hello, welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors. I just want to remind everybody that we video stream live on the internet. We're live. We do video streaming on the internet at www.Manhattan Neighborhood Network. That's mnn.org. You go to community MNN Channel 1, the community channel. So if you happen to be watching TV, you can view us on Time Warner Cable, Channel 34 in Manhattan. We're live. Today is Friday, September 2nd, 2011. This is the Crooked Doctor Show. But if you happen not to be in Manhattan, but you're near a computer, you can watch us streaming live on the internet. And you just go to our website, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, mnn.org, and you'll see the Community One channel, and you can click Watch Us Now, and you can watch us live video streaming on the internet. Let me give a little plug to just one second here. Hold it. Let me give a little plug to. We had a guest last week, Cindy L, and let me just go to. Let me just go to Cindy L's website. We had a guest last week named Cindy L. She's the founder and president of Firefighter Cancer Foundation.org. Why am I bringing this up today? Because as I was running into the studio to do my show, I heard reported on the news that there was a scientific report in a well-respected journal that talked about how firefighters who were 9/11 first responders, they were discovering had higher rates of cancer. So this is an organization that Cindy L has been working on for a number of years that helps 9/11 first responders obtain air filters. If your lungs were injured and the proper scientific term is all the stuff that was aerosoled at 9/11, and if you breathe that in as a 9/11 first responder and you're having trouble breathing, Cindy L, let's go to her website. This is Firefighter Cancer Foundation. She will help you. She was a guest on our show last week, so we're going to go to this is her website. This was Cindy L was a guest on my show last week. She's the president and founder of firefighterscancer.org, and she will try to help you. Here's how you can contact her. This is her website. And you can contact Firefighter Cancer Foundation. This is their 1-800 number. You can send them an email, and they will try to help you. They have a partnership with, let's go to the company right here. This is, let me show you right here. She will try to help 9/11 first responders, police, anybody, volunteers, emergency medical workers, firefighters, volunteers, FBI, you name it. She will try to help you get an air filter, either at low cost or no cost, hopefully. So if you're a 9/11 first responder and you breathed in all this aerosol stuff, and your lungs are injured, you have difficulty breathing, you can contact Cindy L at her foundation, and she will try to help get you an air filter. There were a news report as I was running into the studio about how firefighters were experiencing higher than elevated rates of cancer. And they're starting to attribute that to the scientific community is starting to attribute those higher cancer rates to the 9/11 first responders, to breathing this stuff in. So you can contact to higher rates of cancer. So I think it was published in The Lancet, which is a well-respected scientific journal. So if you're having if you're having difficulties and you're experiencing if you're experiencing you know, any kind of health problems, health issues, please contact Cindy. She'll immediately try to get you an air filter. By the way, if you'd like to contribute some money to Cindy's foundation, that would be terrific. You could also contribute your time. Anybody can find 3 to 5 hours a month to volunteer for Cindy's organization to help her out doing, you know, all kinds of stuff that she needs done. So let's go back to Cindy's. This is Cindy L. She's partnering with this organization to try to get 9/11 first responders air filters. And this is Firefighter Cancer Foundation. And Cindy L., the president and founder, Cindy L., was a guest on our show last week and talked about the good work that she did with this organization. And if you need to contact this organization, would like to contact this organization, this is their website, Firefighter Cancer Foundation. And if you'd like to contact them, they have a 1-800 number right here, and you can send them an email. And I promised Cindy that I would help out. So here you go, Cindy. If you don't have any money because times are tough, but you've got 3 hours a month that you can volunteer to help Cindy in her good work, a donation of time would be also very much appreciated, I'm sure. 3 to 5 hours a month, you know, on a Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon to help Cindy and firefighters and, you know, other first responders, I'm sure would be appreciated. So you can contact Cindy. Okay, so the purpose of my show, and I'm going to get a little more hard hitting. Oh, I should tell you, there's some things I need to clear up. First of all, I got some feedback. It's freezing in the studio. The equipment has to be kept cold. So not only am I wearing, you know, warmer clothes, but I'm touching my nose because my nose is running because it's so cold in here. And I'm looking, why is this an issue? Because I'm dealing with crooked doctors, mostly crooked psychiatrists who make things up. And apparently there are these studies about if you look off to the right, you're lying. If you touch your nose, you're lying. Who knows what these psychopaths make up, okay? I'm looking off to monitors. I got my computer here. I've got 2 monitors. I can surf the web. In other words, I'm multitasking with all kinds of equipment. I got stuff projected behind me. You know what? Let me move this. I got the websites projected behind me. Let me move this so you can see it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So if I'm looking around, it's because I'm multitasking, and I'm keeping my eyes on a lot of equipment so I can present this information. And I'm presenting this information to protect my life and my family and my friends against Yeshiva University, a dishonest university that has gone to extreme lengths to persecute me through life. These people are psychopaths, and the crimes against me are not going to stop until these people are prosecuted and put in jail, and I want protective orders. So I've been talking to law enforcement, and they understand this is not a show, okay? This is not entertainment. This is because our courts are so corrupt, and I'm dealing with a major university on the Manhattan campus that does not use its powers for good. It uses its powers for evil. I am not the only student who has been stalked through life by these psychopaths. And I'm presenting information about other students who have also been persecuted by this school. I worked at Senator Moynihan's office before I went to medical school, United States Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan's office. And for about 30 years, the government and other entities have been they've been wanting to close a school in New York, a medical school in New York. And all the medical schools are vying for power, and they're trying to form partnerships, and they're desperately trying to stay open, and they're making up all kinds of reasons why they should stay open. Yeshiva University's medical school, this is the school you close. they desperately trying to create a niche market for themselves. So what this school says is, you can't close this school because we hold ourselves out to the general public as having expertise in psychiatry. So they pretend that they have to stay open because they have this unique niche that they've taken on for themselves, and they specialize in psychiatry. So to have 3 students now that they've lied about and claimed that they were mentally ill when they're not is really sick. Okay, this school has no expertise in psychiatry. This school just makes things up. And not only did these people stalk me through life like an animal and almost murder me, I'm not their only victim. I want you to think about how sick, how psychopathic, how extremely sociopathic this group, this medical school is, that they would run around and tell people that I am a terrorist, that I am so angry I'm going to get a bomb and blow up the school. This is not stuff that's happening, you know, 10, 15 years ago. As recently as just a couple years ago in Jersey City, quote, my falsified medical records at Jersey City Medical Center state, and this is October 1st, 2008, quote, threatened to blow up a school in Washington, end quote. Now, I did not threatened to blow up a school in Washington. Apparently, the sick freaks at Jersey City Medical Center have been in contact with my medical school, and they created these. This isn't a medical record. This is wholesale fraud. And I'm in contact with Ed DeFazio at the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, and I'm telling everybody at the Hudson County and in law enforcement, I want the identity of the sick freak, the individual who's running around saying, quote, that I, quote, threatened to blow up a school in Washington, end quote. I never threatened to blow up a school in Washington. I went to Washington to talk to my elected officials about the crime and corruption and the persecution towards me and other innocent victims at this school. This isn't just about me or other individuals. This is about the institutions of our society. So I'm down in Washington, D.C., talking to my elected officials, and when I come back, and I got to tell you something, I'm on the phone with military personnel going, let me see if I can, because I have friends in the military, and because when civilian government, as a point of law, when civilian government is so corrupt that this civilian law enforcement will not protect my life, I have the right as an American woman on American soil in a time of war to reach out to the military. And if they refuse to protect my life, then I have every right to reach out to international human rights organizations. So I'm talking to my friends in the military, and I'm like, let me see if I understand this correctly. These are what the bozos in Jersey City want to have you believe. I go down to Washington, I talk to my elected officials, and I'm tooling around Washington for a week or two. Then I get in my car, I drive back to Jersey City where I lived, and I'm tooling around Jersey City for a week or two, and I'm a terrorist? If I was threatening to blow up schools in Washington, and these people have been stalking me for 22 years. I have been hearing this garbage since 1998 when I was at a marketing meeting on Columbia University campus. I was a marketing director for a Fortune 300 company. Me and my associate marketing director are sitting at an event, and I get this thrown in my face. She's so angry. She's so angry. She's going to get a bomb and blow up the school. I'm like, do I have to listen to this garbage for the rest of my life? And here's how it stalked me through life. Years later, decades later, I'm living in Jersey City, and I get some bozo at Jersey City Medical Center writing, quote, threatened to blow up a school in Washington, end quote. I want the identity of that individual so I can prosecute him, so I can get orders of protection, so I can sue the hell out of him for defaming me and take him in front of his licensing board, because this stops now. I've had it. In Jersey City, they trumped up so many lies that I was physically assaulted and almost left with serious bodily injury and almost murdered. Did it stop then? No. And here's the criticism that I'm getting today. Oh, well, that was 3 years ago. What's happening? The persecution of Lidya Radin has not stopped. Today, the psychopaths associated with my medical school are making phony 911 calls. Now, what kind of sick person gets up in the morning and calls 911 and makes a phony police report to have 2 carloads, and this is in April of this year, 2 carloads of police officers from the 70th precinct come to the apartment in which I'm staying while I try to litigate to get my apartment back. I'm staying as a house guest. What kind of sick freak would call up the 70th police precinct and make a phony police report, making this ridiculous claim? The apartment I'm staying at was stormed by 2 carloads of police. Now, the woman that I was staying with, we're like, excuse me, we didn't call 911. This is a phony phone call. This is being used to harass us. And this is way past harassment now because it's happened 3 times. In addition to this, after my, you should be aware, my medical school falsified, the Albert Einstein College of Yeshiva University falsified my medical records, they falsified my educational records, they falsified financial records to steal money. And the purpose of this show is to put the information out there so these criminals can be prosecuted, I can get orders of protection, and the persecution of Lidya Radin and other innocent individuals like my family and friends who are trying to help me stops, because we've had it, okay? None of this has stopped. John Scarfone is Associate General Counsel at Yeshiva. Today, I've got judges making things up. I got a police detective I've got to be afraid of. Detective Cologne lied to put me in Rikers Island for a year. At Rikers Island, I was physically assaulted by inmate Tasha Wright. The woman snapped my neck. I have 3 herniated discs in my neck, 2 herniated discs in my lower back, and a pinched nerve. Everybody there knew I wasn't getting into any kind of fights because having any kind of physical fights with a compromised spine would have left me paralyzed or dead. This woman, Tasha Wright, hit me in the face and snapped my neck. I've been walking around with a headache ever since. Inmate Station beat me up unprovoked. A corrections officer at Rikers Island, this is as recently as a year ago, threw me to the ground on my back and then dragged me by my arm. And it's on videotape that I'm sure Rikers Island has destroyed because the corrections officer that did this doesn't want to face the fact that she made my spinal injuries worse. Because when you physically assault someone with a compromised spine and they're experiencing nausea and a headache, what you got there is the clinical signs and symptoms of bleeding in the brain. Okay, that means I've been walking around punch drunk because of the lies these people told. And this isn't stopping. I get out of Rikers Island. We're going to get to the lies at Rikers Island because I got to present the details of the scam at Rikers Island. I get out of Rikers Island, and now these psychopaths who are stalking me through life are making phony phone calls to the police. Oh, first they scared William Sanchez. William Sanchez is a really nice guy in Jersey City. He's a constable and a process server. He's helped me out before. He was willing to come to Rikers Island to publish the evidence, the information that shows I'm telling the truth and my medical school is lying. He got a phony phone call from someone who called him up and said that they were from the United States Department of Justice and that I wasn't receiving visitors at Rikers Island. Have you ever heard, what kind of sick freak gets up in the morning and makes a phony phone call to a constable? That was the first phony phone call. The second, then we have 3 phony phone calls to the phony 911 calls to the 70th Police Precinct. I have to make requests of the police saying, I want transcripts of those 911 phone calls. I want to hear the audio tapes, and we want to press charges against these people so that the persecution of Lidya Radin stops. Now, as recently as today, I got Bob Arkow on, oh my goodness, a tape-recorded conversation. And Bob Arkow is the head of Rikers Island Mental Health. Here's how the scam works at Rikers Island. You all out there don't know. After my medical school made false criminal charges against me, and here's what they did. They falsified my records. In 2006, I was named as a witness in another student's case, and Yeshiva University paid Associate General Counsel John Scarfone to go into court in 2006 and lie about me. And in this show I'm presenting, this is how easy it is to see that this man is a liar. I don't have to do an extensive treatment. John Scarfone is an attorney who is paid by Yeshiva University to lie. Here's a couple of examples. I presented them on this show. In 2006, he goes into court, he lies about me. I'm named as a witness against him, and the documents that I need to show that he's a liar, I'm being told I have to contact, here's the setup, I have to contact John Scarfone, the attorney who lied about me, and ask John Scarfone, could you please give me my educational records so I can prove that you're a liar? I mean, do you love this? That's called the crime. I have the defense of entrapment available to me. Judge Fast in Jersey City does not have the defense of entrapment open to him. I have the defense of entrapment open to me, okay? John Scarfone in 2006 goes into federal court and lies, claims I failed all my classes except for Todd Olson's anatomy class, and then I'm continually told that John Scarfone is the guy I have to contact to get my educational records to show that that's not true. So what does John Scarfone do? He dashes down to the Manhattan District Attorney's office and he presses false criminal charges, claiming he's annoyed that he has to give Lidya Radin the documents that show the performance evaluations that show he lied. Well, if I was an attorney lying in federal court, I would be annoyed too. Have you ever heard of anything so sick in your life? This is how my life is being wasted with these psychopaths. You want nothing to do with Yeshiva University or anything or anyone associated with it. Now, there's a subpoena in 2009, and the documents that show that I'm telling the truth and the complaining witnesses and the school against me are lying are in the hands of Assistant District Attorney Alex Spiro. Alex Spiro has all the information that he needs to show that the complaining witness against me are lying. What does Alex Spiro do? He intentionally presented perjured testimony a year later at criminal trial to illegally convict and illegally incarcerate me. For example, and let's take a look at that photograph. Let's look at Michael J. Reichgott was my dean of students. This is his contact information. Here's his photograph, okay? This is the guy who went on the witness stand and lied. Alex Spiro had the documents in his hands. I was not expelled from medical school because I'm mentally ill. There's nothing wrong with me. I am not mentally ill. Dr. Garg was not mentally ill. Apparently, my medical school has lied about another student, claimed that student was psychotic, gave them a medical degree anyway. These people lie, oh my God, lie after lie. Heidi Weissman, John Kilcasey. I mean, I'm stepping over the bodies at this school. The reason why they like to say that you're mentally ill or psychotic and schizophrenic is because then you're not a good witness against the school. Do you know how sick it is that Martin Bachstein, former general counsel at Yeshiva University, concocts a criminal scheme where he gets rid of people by running around behind their back claiming they're mentally ill when they're not? That's sick. And then the illness he chooses is is psychosis and schizophrenia, so you're not a good witness against the school. That's what they did to Dr. Garg. Dr. Garg, before me, was a student at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. He witnessed a medical malpractice. The school was scared to death that he was going to be a witness against them. He wasn't. The patient wasn't going to sue. And they trumped up a bunch of reasons to railroad him out, and then they stalked him, telling people that he was psychotic when he wasn't. Do you know how sick that is? And when a school that holds itself out to the general public as having expertise in psychiatry does this to 1, 2, 3 students, 4, this is not a school that has expertise in psychiatry. These are just a bunch of liars. Liars, lawbreakers, and thieves. I was not expelled from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine because I'm mentally ill. I happen to be perfectly sane and a lovely person. I was expelled because I refused to sign a contract releasing the school from liability in my case. And ADA Alex Spiro had the documents in his hands a year before trial to know that I was telling the truth. And what did he do? He intentionally presented perjured testimony, so there'd be a nice false record. Do you love these people? What a bunch of sick freaks, okay? The law is not a game here. Okay, they made a false record, so they could run around and say, look, the judge said so, we made it. That's really sick. That is really sick. And the person who did this is Michael J. Reichcott. I would avoid this man like the plague. Okay, you want nothing to do with this crooked doctor. That's his contact information at the Albert Einstein Freak Show of Medicine, and that's his photograph. You want nothing to do with these people. Oh, apparently, Marlene Abramova was a student they wanted to get rid of. They tried to say that there was something wrong with her, that she was suicidal and dangerous to herself, and the poor little girl had to be taken care of. Marlene Abramova went to independent doctors of her choosing without any prior approval of the college. She did not have to sign a contract releasing the school from liability in her case, and she was reinstated within 2 days. So when there's different standards, oh, by the way, she's an Orthodox Jewish girl. So when there are different standards for different students, then the school demonstrates that it's administratively incapable of administering federal student loans. And when the school demonstrates that it makes promises that it doesn't keep, as in my case, the school recruited me making promises it didn't keep, then it demonstrates financial irresponsibility. And again, the school cannot administer federal student loans. So after they pressed false criminal charges against me and I was drop-kicked into Rikers Island, here's how the scam at Rikers Island works. These people are unfreaking believable. Like, where does it stop with these psychopaths? We're going to listen to Bob Arkow. Bob Arkow is the head of the mental health department at Rikers Island. I made a complaint to the Board of Corrections. The Board of Corrections sent out an investigator, and the investigator confirmed that my medical records at Rikers Island are falsified. And the guy in charge, Bob Arkow, is a guy I had a conversation with today. Let's listen to what Bob Arkow has to say. Okay? Now, we're going to go low tech today because I just got this. And, oh, and yes, Bob Arkow, I went to the FBI with it, and I went to local, oh, yeah, and I went to the Bronx District Attorney's Office. Everybody knows. Oh, I forgot. I got to tell you how the scam works. Here's how the scam works at Rikers Island. Oh, here's how the scam works at Rikers Island. What happens is any corrections officer who wants to retaliate, any white shirt captain or any blue shirt, can fill out a form. So they fill out any form, and they say whatever they want, they make stuff up, and then you as an inmate are required to go to Rikers Island Mental Health Department. If you don't go, they will handcuff you and take you by force. They can, will, and do drag you through corridors, and they will physically take you to the mental health department. And you want nothing to do with the mental health department at Rikers Island because these people are sick. Once you get there, you tell them, I want to refuse. I do not want your services. I want nothing to do with Rikers Island Mental Health or your psychiatrists. And here's what they do. They ignore you. And they come out and you fill out your little form that says, I refuse, please leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you people. And what they do is they have this little catchphrase, they use it on everybody, and they say, oh, the patient presents, let me just take this down a little bit. Oh, the patient presents as angry and frustrated. They write up a bunch of nonsense, and then they bill for it. Because what's really going on here is Rikers Island is a great big business, ladies and gentlemen, and all they need are warm bodies, and then they start billing the taxpayers. It costs the taxpayers between $50,000 and $70,000 to keep me at Rikers Island for a year. That money is pissed away doing Yeshiva University's dirty work. By the time you factor in the malicious prosecution, the defense of the appeal, the illegal incarceration, the Medicare fraud, they created, the doctors at Rikers Island Mental Health created false records and billed for it. I don't know, I unofficially, off the record, talked to someone who was in the teachers union, and we did a rough guesstimate. Probably $250,000 of your hard-earned money is being pissed away doing Yeshiva University's retaliatory, revenge, dirty work. Okay? I'm a student who refused to sign a contract releasing my medical school from liability in my case. And in order to get revenge, the doctors there and the lawyers persecuted me through life, telling people I'm mentally ill when I'm not. Do you know how sick that is? And they even went to the extreme of pressing false criminal charges against me, claiming they were annoyed when I asked to get my records. Not my medical records, although I want them because they're falsified. My financial records. These doctors lied to steal money. Michael Reichgott helped one of my classmates steal a grant. He's had a retaliatory motive since 1995. So when you catch doctors stealing money, what they do is they lie about you. Do you believe these sick freaks? They had a police detective lie on the witness stand. And on my blog site, crookedDoctors, there's a blog site associated with this show, I'm presenting Detective Cologne's testimony. Detective Cologne is a police detective at the 34th Precinct. He lied to put me in prison. Do you know how sick that is? He doesn't dispute this. He admits that he did this. My roommate when I was living in Washington Heights is a guy named Dan Caro. When Dan Caro was in trouble and needed a job, I helped him get a job at a Fortune 300 company. I was one of the hiring managers that recommended him for hire, and he worked at the Fortune 300 company for 5 years. And when there were sales and marketing events, I was his boss. I don't have an intimate boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with Dan Caro. I have a business relationship with Dan Caro. And Dan Caro lied to put me in Rikers Island because it was easier for him to lie than to pay someone back some money. So he owed some guy some money and figured he'd lie to drop kick me into Rikers. And that way, the rent-stabilized apartment that we were sharing in Washington Heights would be free so he could pay off his debt. Isn't Dan Caro a wonderful guy? When you give Dan Caro a job, he lies to put you in prison. Now, I explained this to the bozos, Dr. Caligden, the incompetent nincompoop. I explained this to everybody at Rikers Island. I was wallpapering the place with enough irrefutable documentary evidence to show I was telling the truth, but they didn't care because the most compelling aspect of my illegal incarceration was we just want a warm body here so we can bill the taxpayers because this is a business. Unbelievable. Okay, so I request my medical records, and this is the way the scam runs. The corrections officers, and by the way, there's no difference between the people at Rikers Island. There's no difference between the people in front of the bars and the people behind the bars. The guards will sell drugs, the guards will steal money, the guards will rape the women. It's disgusting what they do. I'm lucky to be alive with these psychopaths. They did things that were so unconscionable. There was one, I'll get into it. I actually had to call the United Nations once because the guards at Rikers Island, they will murder. They're horrible, disgusting people. So the way the scam works at Rikers Island is that any corrections officer can fill out a form and require an inmate to go to the mental health department. And then when you're there, you refuse mental health because you want nothing to do with these people. They ignore you. So what's the point of refusing? I don't know. All the inmates and I were asking the same questions. You know, I go down, I refuse, they ignore me. They have their little catchphrase, they write you up anyway, and then they bill for it. Because the point of this is to create a false record that you can bill for. This is not a medical record. This is wholesale fraud, and it's a crime, and it's being used to hurt me today. Okay? These bozos at the Rikers Island Mental Health Department, they're so grossly incompetent that they tried to say I wasn't a medical school student. I'm like, excuse me, I have my criminal trial transcript with me where the school is testifying against me. They're stipulating that they lied to me in the recruitment process, and you, the doctors at Rikers Island Mental Health, are denying reality to the extreme degree that you claim I wasn't a medical school student? I mean, come on. When I was getting out of Rikers Island, I got some bozo doctor who's running around commenting on my false records at Jersey City Medical Center. I'm like, these are not medical records. These are wholesale fraud. So I call Bob Arkow today because I had the results of an investigation that was done by the Board of Corrections. And let's listen to what the head of Rikers Island Mental Health Department has to say. Unbelievable. And we're going to go low tech here, but I'm going to, these are digital files, and I'm going to put them up on the internet and do a YouTube video about it, and everybody can see. You know how sick that is? If you're an innocent person and you've got the evidence with you, the psychiatrist at Rikers Island Mental Health Department will deny reality to such an extreme degree that they demonstrate that they are psychotic, out of contact with reality, dangerous to others. That's how sick these people are. And what I need to tell you after we listen to Bob Arkow is how to protect yourself against dangerous doctors who lie. So let's listen to Bob Arkow today.
Good afternoon, Mental Health.
Oh, yes, I'm trying to reach Bob. Oh, wait. Let me, sorry listening audience. Let me just turn this up a little. When I was preparing for the show, I turned it down, so let me just turn up the volume. Thank you for your patience. Okay, now let me go back. I love all this equipment. I got to hold on. All right. Could you please tell me your name? Okay, just 1 second. Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. This should be it.
Good afternoon, Mental Health.
Oh, yes, I'm trying to reach Bob Arkow.
Hold on, let me transfer you, okay?
Okay.
Mental Health.
Oh, yes, I'm trying to reach Bob Arkow.
Speaking.
Mr. Arkow, it's Lidya Radin. I understand that an investigator from the Board of Corrections confirmed that my medical records at Rikers Island are falsified.
Okay.
So what actions do we take to deal with this issue? Because that's a crime, and I don't want to be stalked for the rest of my life with a bunch of people who are lying about me. That's not it's not a good thing.
Okay, I really can't talk to you, Miss Radin.
So that's your response?
Correct.
Okay, so there are people on your staff who are falsifying medical records to hurt me and milk the taxpayers, and your response is you can't talk to me?
Correct. So I'm going to have to hang up now. Okay?
No, it's not okay. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjust the volume a little bit here because I'm monitoring the levels. But what you got is, you got Bob Arkow, who's head of Rikers Island Mental Health Department. It's his job to make sure that the people on the staff do not commit fraud in order to steal money. That's what they did. And it's not just that they're lying to steal money. I'm being persecuted. These are not bona fide real medical records. This is wholesale fraud. Now, the falsified records, I want to play this again. And yeah, I'm going to download this as a digital file, put it up on YouTube, the Crooked Doctors YouTube. And yeah, I played this for my attorneys, and I played this for Bob Kapp over at he's the chief of the arson Automobile and Economic Crime Bureau over at the Bronx District Attorney's office, Thomas Kapp. He's chief of the Arson, Auto, and Economic Crimes Bureau at the Bronx District Attorney's office. He should be prosecuting for this fraud. If he's not, I want to know why. And I want my city councilman to bring this up to the mayor and say, you know, what is this nonsense? Do you know how frightening this is, that you're illegally convicted, you're at Rikers Island, and they're falsifying medical records to put you in a locked psychiatric ward for life? Because, yeah, if I was John Scarfone, I wouldn't want Lidya Radin out there telling the truth about how I lied in federal court. If I was Detective Cologne, I wouldn't want Lidya Radin running around out there free, lying about, telling the truth about how Detective Cologne had lied on the witness stand. To illegally convict and illegally incarcerate me. If I was ADA Alex Spiro, I certainly wouldn't want Lidya Radin out there talking about and presenting the truth about how Michael Reichgott lied on the witness stand, how ADA Alex Spiro intentionally presented perjured testimony. Let's see the FBI protect my life. Okay, they were supposed to reach out to me months ago. This is not something that, oh, it happened last year, oh, it happened 3 years ago, oh, it happened 10 years. No, this is happening today. Today, I've got some idiot judge making up rulings about how I can't get my apartment back or my belongings back. Today, in 30 days, I have to go and face some more false charges. It's totally ridiculous. Today, the woman that I'm staying with is she and I are being harassed by phony phone calls to the police. And you know why the men and women at the 70th precinct aren't outraged? Because the first phony phone call where 2 carloads of police stormed our apartment, one of the guys took us aside and said, you know, not for nothing, but we almost had a car accident racing over here because we took this seriously. And the point of this was to create a false record, because at Jersey City Medical Center, I really was illegally held as a prisoner against my will. Okay, that's the crime of false imprisonment. So in order to try to create, this is the sick freaks I'm dealing with. In order to try to create a false record, the phony 911 call in April said, oh, there's a woman in an apartment who claims to be held as a prisoner against her will. So they're trying to create a false record here to try to undermine the truth of what happened at Jersey City. And the propaganda technique is, oh, she always says that. She always says that. That's really sick. There was another phony phone call to the police, 911 call in May, and the police responded, and we were like, why are you coming here? We didn't call you. We live in this apartment. We did not contact the police. And they said, oh, well, we got a 911 call from a woman who claimed she was assaulted here. I was assaulted at Jersey City Medical Center, not the apartment that I'm living in now in Brooklyn, with someone who was gracious enough to give me a temporary place to stay until I can get my apartment in Washington Heights back. I was assaulted at Jersey City. That was real. Okay, to have someone call 911 now in May of 2011 and say, oh, there's a woman claiming to be assaulted, because you see, Lydia always says that. She always says that. Do you know how sick that is? That's really sick. There was a third phony phone call to the police that they responded to, and they said, well, we got a call to see if someone was still alive or if there was a woman dead in this apartment. Do you know how sick that is? I was physically assaulted and almost murdered at Jersey City Medical Center. Not in the apartment I'm staying in now, but do you all understand the propaganda technique? That's really, really sick. So what I'm going to do is, because this is, I'm going to take these digital files and put them up on YouTube, and everybody can listen to Bob Arkow. I had to report these people to the Board of Corrections. The investigator came down, got confirmation. These people are not providing treatment to me. Okay? The fact that Detective Cologne lied, that Dr. Caligden lied, that Marianne Capone lied, these are sick people. Okay? That's not a problem that originates with me. The fact that I'm being persecuted through life by a medical school that lied to illegally expel me, and I helped other students And by the way, a lot of this, you have to understand there's a couple different enemy camps here. There's the medical school, the prime enemy camp. And then there's the sick freaks associated with Marlena Abramova and the Russians. Then there's the Javon Patyar camp. We'll get to that. And then there's the Jersey City freak show. And the Jersey City freak show, and these people were all in contact with my medical school, a lot of this stuff was being, the falsified financial information was being driven out in a landlord-tenant case in 2008. Everybody in Jersey City knew that my medical school had falsified financial information. And there's a dishonest judge that my landlords in Jersey City had hired from North Bergen. His name is Nino Falcone. Nino Falcone is a dishonest municipal court judge from North Bergen. He has a very bad reputation, and I think at least one or two ethical complaints against him. Nino Falcone presented Asaf Rosenheim. Asaf Rosenheim is a self-identified Israeli. He's a gay man. We are not boyfriend and girlfriend. He's an openly gay man. His lover is named Harry. And Asaf Rosenheim confessed on the witness stand in my landlord-tenant case to immigration fraud and to lying to Homeland Security. He confessed, Asaf Rosenheim, in summer of 2008 in landlord-tenant court in Jersey City in front of Judge Fast, who was hearing the case, and Judge Nino Falcone, municipal court judge from North Bergen, Nino Falcone, who was hired to come in from North Bergen into Jersey to be harass me with frivolous evictions, and was paid by Ralph and Magda Pagnozzi, my dishonest landlady and landlord, got Asaf Rosenheim on the witness stand, and this self-identified Israeli ex-military going to a psychiatrist to get psychotropic drugs because he cannot adjust to civilian life, confessed on the witness stand to lying to Immigration and Homeland Security. Two judges. He confessed in front of Lawrence Sidoti, my attorney from Northeast New Jersey Legal Services, who is a court officer. And what does Homeland Security do for the last 3 years? Absolutely nothing. So if you're out there in the Spanish community and you come to America and you execute an immigration fraud, you make sure that you contact me, or I'm putting all of this up on a blog site, Asaf Rosenheim. Do you love the double standard in immigration? Because I'm also presenting the double standard in education. But if you're a Spanish person and you confess to immigration fraud and lying to Homeland Security, you would be deported so fast it would make your head spin. But not Asaf Rosenheim. And here's what Asaf Rosenheim did. There was a woman named Yael Jacobs. She wanted to come to America. But she didn't want to live here for 6 months and get a job and live here and demonstrate that she was before she got her green card. This was too much of an inconvenience for her. So what Asaf did is he put her name on our utility bills and phone bills to create the false impression that she was living in the apartment at 278 3rd Street. Yael Jacobs never lived in Jersey City in the apartment 1 on 278 3rd Street. I lived there. Yael Jacobs never lived there. This fraud was executed with the cooperation of Milton Myers. Milton L. Myers or Milton Myers? I'm not sure about his middle initial. He's the attorney involved. Now, these folks are lying to Homeland Security, and Asaf is supposed to go down to Homeland Security with Yael to give evidence of a shared life. Evidence of a shared life with an openly gay man? Are you kidding me with this nonsense? They were running a marriage fraud, okay? Yael Jacobs did not live at the apartment at Jersey City. And Asaf is running criminal scheme after criminal scheme after criminal scheme. And we're all supposed to feel sorry for him because I protected myself by posting this information, which was accepted into evidence on a website. Now, this is a self-identified ex-military, claims combat experience. He was a freak show. You would not believe the stuff that went on in this apartment. I had to call the police, and the police didn't know what to do. Finally, they told Asaf, look, knock it off, And we're going to characterize this as a domestic dispute because we want her to be able to call us, and if she calls us one more time, we're putting you into the street. Leave her the hell alone. Asaf would do anything. If it wasn't nailed down, Asaf would steal it. This guy was running so many criminal schemes, I could not keep up with it, okay? So Asaf Rosenheim, oh, by the way, he tried to rip off my landlords too, and they asked me to come and testify against him. So in 2004, my landlords asked me to testify against Asaf because he tried to steal money from them. I do. 4 years later, in 2008, the ingrates, who are my landlords, take me to landlord-tenant court, and they come up with Asaf as a witness against me, who gets up on the witness stand and confesses to lying to immigration and Homeland Security. Oh, and this is the real stupidity. What we had to suffer to was listening through, this is the stupid excuse they gave. No, they weren't really trying to lie to immigration and Homeland Security. It's just that the office in New York was too busy. So they came to use the immigration office in New Jersey because the lines were shorter. I'm like, oh yeah. So let's think about this. The lines were shorter, so Asaf Rosenheim put Yael Jacobs' name on utility bills and phone bills, pretending that she lived in the apartment because, you know, the lines were too long in New York, so they came to New Jersey. That's why they did that. Oh, come on. And Judge Fast found non-party witnesses, Asaf Rosenheim, credible. This is the non-party witness that Judge Fast finds credible. Judge Fast conspired to help Asaf Rosenheim commit immigration fraud. So did Judge Falcone, and they conspired with Milton Myers and Yael Jacobs. Now, I can't wait to tell the entire Spanish Latino community, because if you had did something like this, you would be deported so fast it would make your head spin. But not Asaf Rosenheim. Asaf Rosenheim is still walking around free. And what did Homeland Security do about this? Homeland Security has known about this for years, and they do nothing. How much do you want to bet that the 170 counts at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office included Asaf and his gay lover Harry, who went behind my back and tried to jump on Yeshiva University's bandwagon, saying they felt harassed, they wanted to press criminal charges, and then the whole thing started blowing up in Alex Spiro's face when he discovered that Asaf Rosenheim has no credibility. Because Asaf Rosenheim lied to immigration, for which the prison term is 5 years. And I'm the one who's running around scared. What is this guy going to do next? Do you see Homeland Security protecting me, a native-born American woman on American soil in a time of war? Because it is not the Arabs that are terrorizing me. It's a bunch of racist Zionists who are terrorizing me. And that is not anti-Semitic. That's the truth. So let's listen to Bob Arkow, because I want to make sure the levels are good. Bob Arkow lied. There's nothing he can do. There's nothing that Bob Arkow can do when his mental health department falsifies records in order to bill the city. Okay, Bob Arkow is fully aware that the people that he's responsible for committed fraud. And by the way, when I was an inmate at Rikers, Bob Arkow used to taunt me. He knew exactly what was going on. I used to send pages of my criminal trial transcript into Rikers Island Mental Health Department with a psychiatrist named Robert Lampsky. And he would hand deliver it to Bob Arkow. My medical school confessed to lying to recruit me. Here's one page out of my criminal trial transcript. You read one sentence, page 364, and you know my school has confessed and had a retaliatory motive against me since the recruitment process. The psychiatrist at Rikers Island Mental Health deny reality. They had the criminal trial transcript in their hands. They didn't have to read all the pages. One page, page 364, the College of Medicine confessed that they recruited me, promising that they would support student research 100%. They admitted that I did very good work. They refused to support my project. I was supposed to be a principal author on 3 to 5 original clinical research projects. And I wasn't, not only did they not support my work, but I wasn't permitted to go to the grants office to get outside support, outside grant support. And ultimately, after my illegal expulsion from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, I was successful in obtaining a grant, thereby demonstrating increased functioning. So they had to admit, no, she's not schizophrenic. They had to admit that I had all the qualities to show that I was telling the truth and this school was lying. Bob Alcal used to taunt me, ridicule me, laugh at me. Ha, 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 we got you. That's sick. Bob Alcal is not a child. He's an adult man running a mental health department at Rikers Island, and he participates in crimes, not only fraud to steal money, but to persecute me. And at Rikers Island, I was physically assaulted with 5 herniated discs and a pinched nerve. And I've been walking around nauseous and with a headache. Those are the clinical signs and symptoms of bleeding in the brain, which means I've been doing this punch drunk for a couple years. Homeland Security does not protect my life. The FBI does not protect my life. The police department does not protect my life. This is not happening years ago. This is happening today. Today at the 26th Police Precinct, they refused to take my legitimate complaints against Janice Bennett. Janice Bennett was at Yeshiva University's medical school, and Janice Bennett switched jobs to Columbia University, and Janice Bennett was fully aware that John Scarfone lied about me in 2006. So when I went on the Columbia University campus and asked to make an appointment to speak with her, because she was my professor, director of a class that I passed, and on my promotions committee, and she had an initial duty and she has a continuing duty to be truthful and forthcoming, Janice Bennett dashed down to Columbia University's public health department and made up a story to get me kicked off campus. Do you know how sick that is? Janice Bennett is a psychopath. You want nothing to do with Yeshiva University or anything connected with it. This is not happening years ago. This is happening today. I have to deal with judges like Judge Spears making things up. Today I have to deal with phony phone calls. And they would do more than phony phone calls to the police if they could. Today I have to try to get my money back. Today I still haven't gotten my complete unedited records from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. My medical records are falsified, my educational records are falsified, my financial records are falsified. So my attorney asked me, what about the statute of limitations? There is no statute of limitations because the crimes against me have not stopped. There are a long, continuous stream of episode after episode after episode as I get persecuted through life, and in Jersey City and in Rikers Island, they almost murdered me. Fraud vitiates all proceedings, including the absurdity of my criminal trial. Okay? Fraud vitiates all proceedings. Active fraudulent concealment tolls the statute of limitations. So when the school actively withholds, for example, Blue Cross Blue Shield information to show that the crooked doctors at Yeshiva University lied to an insurance company, they don't get to argue statute of limitations. So as we go out, because we have 2 minutes left, let's listen to Bob Alcal, dishonest head of Rikers Island Mental Health Department. Let's listen to Bob Alcal. Oh, shoot.
Yes, I'm trying to reach P.O. Rubenkowski.
Oh, that's Rubenkowski. Wait, just 1 second. Let me make sure. I got this. Here we go. Bob Alcal.
Good afternoon, mental health.
Yes, I'm trying to reach Bob Alcal.
Hold on, let me transfer you, okay?
Okay.
mental health.
Yes, I'm trying to reach Bob.